It's time now for another awesome mini lecture on health matters and nutritional matters and so on from, of course, the gentleman who's behind me, if you're looking on a video. Of course, it's the cartoon representation of the one and only Dennis the Chemist. How are you, Dennis?
Well, I always say mighty fine, but the whole world, for different reasons that we all know, pandemics and wars, everybody, to some degree, is stressed. And so when I read the newspapers each day, I drive my wife, we married 50 years, drive her mad, cutting out articles, thousands of articles, all appertaining to health and how we can help people get through what we are presented with. So I've got a few cuttings here and I'm going to whiz through them now. So in the Daily Express, Wednesday, April the 20th, yesterday, it said, just as it's becoming warm enough to throw open our windows and let in fresh air, the hay fever season is in full swing. Tree pollen is a problem from late March and grass pollen from mid-May right through June, July, August, until the end of September. Hay fever sufferers are advised to keep windows closed during the high pollen count days, but stale, dusty air can cause its own problems. So people can invest in air purifiers, which reduce the dust, the animal dander from pets swirling around inside our homes, not to mention other nasties like molds, bacteria and viruses. So that was the start of an article. It was publicizing the sale of different filters that people can buy. But it was very true that, you know, this hay fever season, last program, I was showing all the different products that you can buy from your pharmacy. There are eye drops, which can, if you go into your pharmacy and you've got itchy eyes because of the pollen, then they can sell you marvelous drops, which will relieve it instantly. Of course, we've got the antihistamines. Some of them can make you drowsy, and some of them don't make you drowsy at all. In fact, some of them are allowed even by pilots to take flying planes, because they remarkably, some of the modern ones don't make you drowsy. But if you speak to your pharmacist, then they can advise you on the eye drops, on the tablets to take. I'll now talk about, there is a product I mentioned previously. It's called Moducare. It's made from the sap of a tree in South Africa. People there have been drinking the sap of the tree for hundreds of years. And it's remarkable that 3 little capsules of this product, these little capsules, 2 as you wake up in your bedroom with a glass of water you brought up the night before, and a 3rd one as you get into bed at night. It is remarkable for helping your immune system. And not just hay fever. There are actually over 150 autoimmune diseases. And this product, they've called it Moducare, from the English word to modulate, to balance with care your immune system. We have 248 bones in our body, and the main bones, the big shoulder bones and the thigh bones, that's where a predominant amount of your stem cells are. You've heard of stem cells. This is where the half your immune system is. The other half is in the lining of your bowel, where you have 1.5 kilograms, 3 pounds by weight of those friendly germs we're always talking about, which is the other half of your immune system. And you can buy from your pharmacy and health food store probiotics to put back the friendly germs that you need to activate half your immune system There are cells in the lining of your bowel. Your bowel is 20 feet long, and these friendly germs, they have a job to do. They orchestrate the other half of your immune system. But the stem cells in your bones, they're activated by things in fruit and vegetables to get the balance of the cells. The main cells are called T cells. We've heard a lot about T cells because of COVID. It's upsetting the last two T cells. If Th1 T cells go too low, these are the ones in your bone, then you are more prone to viruses and infection and even cancer and all these autoimmune diseases. And if the Th2 cells go too high, then you've got the things like hay fever and autoimmune diseases. So you've got to balance your Th1s, bring them up, the Th2s bring them down. And these capsules made from the powder, from the sap of the pine tree in South Africa, they orchestrate the Th1 cells to come up and the Th cells to come down. I've been taking these myself for 20 years. I used to have hay fever from the age of 6. And since I've been taking these, since I was about 60, I'm 81 now, I'm 9 years off 90. But taking these is remarkable for your immune system. The only people who can't take Moducare capsules is if you've had a transplant, because it will overcome the anti-rejection drugs, which are blocking the rejection of your transplanted organ. But anybody else, they give the powder to babies in South Africa with HIV/AIDS, another virus like the COVID-19 is a virus. And they give it to pregnant women with HIV/AIDS, and they do much better than those who haven't been given it. So it's a remarkable product. If you have trouble getting it, you can get it from my pharmacy here in Manchester. It's Dennis. If you want a leaflet on it, just put in an envelope, write on an envelope, Dennis the Chemist, Prestwich, Prestwich, Manchester. The postcode is M25 1FX, but the local post office, I've been there 51 years. The shop's been there 99 years. It was Brown's Pharmacy, then it was Shepherd's Pharmacy. And then when I got it 50 years ago, I changed it to Dennis Gore Pharmacy. And I'm known as Dennis the Chemist. The old word for pharmacy was chemist. And so I'm known as Dennis the Chemist. But it's a remarkable product. And if you write on an envelope, Dennis the Chemist, Prestwich, Manchester, the local post office who take all the parcels every day, we do mail order products all over the world, all over the country. They come at 4 o'clock every day in the red van to collect the mail order parcels. So if you write on an envelope, Dennis the Chemist, Prestwich, Manchester, inside, write on a piece of paper, your name and address. We'll stick a stamp on another envelope. You don't have to enclose a stamped addressed envelope. Just write on a piece of paper, I would like notes on anything that I'm talking about this morning, and the staff will send you by return the notes. But that Moducare, modulated with care, your immune system is amazing. I'm jumping now to, and we use it for psoriasis, we use it for eczema, we use it for all those different autoimmune diseases, because it helps to maintain a healthy immune system. Crohn's, colitis, lupus, ankylosing spondylitis. We've helped people all these years, 20 years, with this product, Moducare. There's a little note here I cut out. Music help for health. Music can improve the lives of those with dementia and depression. It calls for a commissioner to champion and coordinate projects, including the setting up of cross-government task force. It follows a study by UK Music, which represents the sector, and the Music for Dementia campaign. Leader Jay Nicod Goodwin said more and more evidence emerges about the extraordinary health benefits of music and its potency as a non-pharmacological intervention to help people with dementia. Talking of dementia, there was another article here. This article, the headline was Real Flower Power. This is amazing because we're giving out a medicine on prescription. It's made from daffodils, and there's something in daffodils, in the flower, there's a chemical called galantamine, and the headline is, it could help cure Alzheimer. And Chris Riches, the newspaper author, he says scientists are encouraging the Welsh hill farmers to plant more daffodils so they can ramp up production of a dementia easing drug. They've been harvesting the spring blooms for 3 years, 1,000 feet above sea level in the Black Mountains, as they, growing at that particular spot, 1,000 feet above sea level, are uniquely rich in this compound from the daffodil flowers called galantamine. Trials have shown this brain health supplement eases the symptoms of Alzheimer by slowing cognitive decline. It takes 100 daffodils to produce enough of this substance, galantamine, to last one dementia sufferer a year. And there are thousands of people with dementia, and it takes 100 daffodils to make enough galantamine to last one dementia sufferer a year. And so they're hoping to treat 9,000 Alzheimer patients when crystallized into a prescription tablet and capsule. The firm, along with Canadian neuroscience company Neurodyne Life Sciences, is aiming for an over-the-counter version by next year. That's marvelous. We'll be able to buy the capsule over the counter, and that will be helping so many people. The former BBC governor, who's now 78, Sir Roger Jones, said, "We have found a way of growing daffodils and extracting galantamine from them in a very cost-efficient way. This means there is more money in the pot to share with farmers to grow them." So that's more information on Alzheimer and dementia. Music is good to listen to and sing, and then this extract from daffodil. And I will add, because I always talk about it, coenzyme Q10. Q10 is a substance made in your liver. And as you pass 20, your liver starts to make less. And when you get to 40, your production in your liver of Q10 has gone back to a 2-year-old. And when you get to 80, you've gone back to the levels of a 1-year-old baby. I'm 81. I'm 9 years off 90. I'm on no medicines. I'm still working in the pharmacy, 51 years. My mother wheeled me in the pram into the pharmacy 81 years ago. And I've been taking Q10 all these years because I happen to be the only pharmacist in the world who's been to every world conference every 2 years for 21 years. Boston, Germany, Italy, London, Los Angeles, Prague, Belgium, Sweden, Seville, Bologna, New York, and all being well, next month I go to Hamburg. It's the 12th World Conference on coenzyme Q10. So this substance, as I've said, made in your liver, gives you your energy. When you eat food and when you breathe, the food and the oxygen, the food from your bowel, you've digested the food, goes into your blood. The oxygen you breathed in your lungs goes into the blood, and the blood carries the food and the oxygen to all your cells in your body. You won't believe the number of cells in your body. It's 30 trillion, not million, not billion, 30 trillion. And there's been lots of talk with the pandemic about the little engines in every cell. You may have heard the word mitochondria. They look like sausages under a microscope, and you haven't got one in each of your 30 trillion cells. You've got 5,000. So if you multiply 5,000 by 30 trillion, that is a very big number. And when the food and the oxygen that you've eaten and breathed are joined together by the Q10 production, which takes place in your liver, you create energy. That's how you get your energy. And water is H2O. You knew that. Oxygen is O2. You knew that. But you probably didn't know the energy molecule is a mouthful. For short, ATP, which stands for adenosine triple phosphate. And when you want energy, your heart beating, your brain's working, your kidneys are filtering, your liver's detoxifying, your spleen is making red blood cells, your pancreas is making insulin, you run for a bus, you climb the stairs, you mow the lawn. Whatever you're doing, all these parts of your body, everything you're doing gets its energy from this substance. Water's H2O, oxygen's O2, energy molecule ATP, adenosine triple phosphate. And as you break a triple phosphate, it becomes a double phosphate. And that break is the energy. And it's all carried out by this substance, the Q10, which you can buy in a capsule for about 40p. And when you take one a day, your blood levels of Q10 will go back to the levels of when you were 20. And if you take two a day, one with your breakfast, one with your evening meal, 100 milligrams of Q10, then you will have twice the levels of anybody who ever lived. And if you take three a day, one with your breakfast, one with your lunch, and one with your evening meal. And I learned this many years ago, and I've been taking three a day. You can call it as an experiment now, but I've got many customers taking three a day. I put my mother at 80 on three a day. She did all the book work for the shop, right up to her death at 92. My uncle had his own computer. He ordered online. He lived to 99. One of my relatives was overweight, diabetic, angina, high blood pressure, and heart failure. She was in the local hospital 6 weeks. And when I asked the consultant, while the person was getting dressed, what's the future for the person? And he said, well, 66 plus 5 to 7 years, the biblical 70 years and 10. By taking Q10, 100 milligrams, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a 10-penny tablet of the world's rarest mineral, which Great Britain's soil has got very low levels. This is a mineral called selenium, which you need to make 25 pathways. Then by taking those two and a bark of a tree tablet called pycnogenol, by taking these products, this person lived not 5 to 7 years, but 21 years, lived to 87, taking Q10, selenium tablet, and the bark of the tree tablet, biopycnogenol, which actually you can't take at the same time as aspirin because it works in a similar way. Moving on to another cutting here, lives at risk in diabetes care meltdown after the pandemic. Unfortunately, the pandemic showed people living with diabetes are at particular higher risk of serious complications from COVID. The reason for this is not straightforward, the article said, but basically, the more complications someone with diabetes has, the greater their COVID risk. Many living with type 2 diabetes have excess body fat, which also pushes up COVID risk. So it's a double hit. Should we ever face another pandemic, it would be helpful to stop complications developing for diabetes. However, as Diabetes UK now reports, many of the care processes diabetics normally receive were curtailed due to the need to socially distance. Many diabetics have missed blood or blood pressure tests, and they've lost routine appointments to check their eyes or feet. And worryingly, such problems appear to be more common among disadvantaged groups. Experts are wondering whether risk factors leading to complications have escalated in people living with diabetes. So what they're saying is, as soon as diabetics listening to this are offered the chance to meet a doctor, to meet a nurse, to have the blood tested, to have their feet checked, to have their eyes checked, all parts of the body which can be damaged by the sugar, and if it's not well controlled, it's important to keep your appointment. Another article here was about arthritis. Arthritis is with a vegan diet. And it says, this was in the Express, Tuesday the 19th by Joe Morgan. Turning vegan can improve joint pain in rheumatoid arthritis. Eating a plant-based diet without calorie restrictions could be the key in easing the agony felt by an estimated 400,000 UK adults. Researchers have found early diagnosis and treatment is one of the key ways to prevent the autoimmune condition from getting worse. But diet could now be a factor. In the study of 44 adults, patients who went vegan, these are people with rheumatoid arthritis, had a far greater reduction in joint pain compared to those who have an unrestricted diet. The findings were published in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine. So obviously, if you go to a more plant-based diet, a vegan diet, so that's no animal matter at all, you could then be low if you go vegan on things like vitamin B12. So there is a place for supplements when people go vegan, especially the B vitamins and B12 in particular. And many people are prescribed B12, or they buy from their pharmacy or health food store. So it is important, if you do go vegan, to take B12 or to take a general multivitamin with all the minerals and vitamins to make sure you're not missing out. Here's another article. Lung MOT leads to early diagnosis for 600 cancer patients. Mobile health clinics are saving the lives of hundreds of people at high risk of lung cancer. 600 patients have already been diagnosed early thanks to the lung MOTs available at NHS trucks traveling the country. Those whose disease, this is lung cancer, is caught in the early stages are almost 20 times more likely to survive for at least 5 years. The NHS cancer director, Dame Carly Palmer, said, These lung checks can save lives. By going out into the communities, we find more people who may not have otherwise realized they have lung cancer, with hundreds already diagnosed and hundreds of thousands due to be invited. The trucks are conveniently located to make them easy access. And it is vital that as soon as you are invited, take up the offer. The vehicles will be in supermarket car parks, sports grounds, and shopping centres. Patients at high risk include current and ex-smokers. Some 77% of cancers identified via the mobile screening were caught in the early stages, when treatment is more likely to be successful. What else are we reading? This was a little, a small one, but it's so pertinent. The headline is, weight increases cancer risk. Excess weight almost doubles a woman's risk of developing womb cancer. New research success. Did you hear that, folks? Excess weight almost doubles a woman's risk of developing cancer of the womb. The cancer research study found that for every 5 extra body mass index, known by the 3 letters BMI, and they measure it, that if your number is 20 to 25, then that's considered the normal BMI. If it's over 25 up to 30, then you are overweight. And if it's over 30, you are definitely obese. And if it's higher still, you are very obese. And it said that for every 5 extra body mass index, this BMI unit, a 5'5" tall adult woman, if she's just 2 stone heavier, the risk of getting cancer of the womb increases by 88%. A 5'5" tall woman, 2 stone overweight, increases her chance of getting cancer of the womb by 88%. That is an unbelievable number that nobody really knows about. Another interesting article was this one. This was in the Manchester Evening News, Tuesday, April the 19th, 2022. And it said, do you find yourself struggling with everyday tasks like carrying shopping bags? The main headline was, rebuild the muscle mass you lost in lockdowns. The pandemic closed gyms, it went on to say, and many people fell out of an exercise routine. So we might not be as strong as we were 2 years ago. A survey of more than 2,000 members of the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy. So this isn't 2,000 customers, patients. This is a survey of 2,000 members. They're all qualified physiotherapists from the Chartered Society of Physiotherapy. They found an average of 6 in 10 patients were experiencing muscle loss due to the pandemic. The physiotherapist has just launched the Stronger My Way website, which is lowercase csp.org.uk/ and then the word stronger. So this campaign is to encourage people to regain muscle strength through a range of easy at-home exercises. People often associate being less active and losing muscle mass. They usually associate this, being less active and losing muscle mass, with the older, more frail people. But it can happen at any point across the lifespan, stresses Chris Marty from the Chartered Institute Society. He himself is an advanced musculoskeletal physiotherapist. So he's specializing in helping people who've lost muscle, the muscles which join your skeleton together. He says, I see many younger patients, this is unbelievable, in their 30s, 40s, and 50s with this problem of losing muscle mass. Alistair Crew, the master trainer at David Lloyd's Leisure, he had added, missing out on regular exercise can lead to a loss in muscle mass. A drop in lean tissue levels can lead to issues with strength going down, the bone mineral density, the strength, the density of your bone, your normal metabolism, how you go about your life, your balance, people fall over. And now it's happening to younger people, age 30.
Dennis, that's where we have to actually hold today, the actual piece, because we reached that cliffhanger ending, which suggests that we need to actually wrap up at the moment. And so hopefully, if anybody wants to follow through with respect to that, they can, of course, write you directly. Dennis Gore Pharmacy, Prestwich, Manchester. And I'm sure if they've got any questions about some of the things you've actually addressed, you're more than capably answered. Hopefully the web address will be up and online as well, dennisthechemist.com.